Welcome to the official channel of Sheikh Hamdan's devoted fanbase, where we delve into the captivating world of the royal family and bring you the latest updates on the intriguing Sheikh Hamdan. As Sheikh Hamdan emerged from the courtroom, the weight of his circumstances settled heavily upon him. Yet, amidst the turmoil, a resolute thought echoed within his mind. This was merely the beginning of his redemption. The soft whisper of his father's words lingered, urging him to prove himself, but the daunting task of rectifying past wrongs loomed before him. The palace corridors, once a symbol of comfort and familiarity, now seemed to reverberate with the haunting memories of his recent struggles. The media's scathing criticism, his wife's public betrayal, and the defection of his loyal followers had all taken their toll. Yet, as he stepped into the opulent hallway, a familiar voice pierced the air, addressing him with the respect and dignity he once knew. Sheikh Hamdan. Sheikh Hamdan's eyes narrowed as he gazed at the tablet Omar handed him. The live news broadcast revealed his wife, poised and collected, yet her words dripped with venom. "I was blinded by love," she admitted, her tone laced with a hint of sadness. "But now, I see the truth. Power and privilege won't shield you from accountability." Hamdan's fingers instinctively tightened around the tablet, his mind racing with the implications. "This is far from over," he muttered, his voice low and even. Omar's expression turned somber. "The fallout is just beginning. Your reputation, your family's legacy, everything is at stake." Hamdan's gaze snapped toward Omar, his eyes blazing with determination. "I need a strategy, not sympathy," he said, his voice firm and commanding. Omar nodded curtly. "We'll reframe the narrative, shift the focus. But we must act swiftly, before the situation spirals further out of control." Sheikh Hamdan's skepticism was palpable as he raised an eyebrow. "Control the narrative?" he repeated, his tone incredulous. "How do I even begin to do that?" Omar's expression turned resolute, his eyes gleaming with a hint of strategy. "You don't apologize, you don't beg, you rise above." Hamdan's gaze snapped toward Omar, his interest piqued. "What do you propose?" he asked, his voice tinged with curiosity. Omar leaned in, his voice taking on a conspiratorial tone. "We shift the focus. We reveal the truth behind the facade. She manipulated the public's perception, but we can change that. We can show them the real story. Uncover the truth," Hamdan muttered, his eyes constricting into slits. "What are you insinuating, Omar?" The advisor's voice dropped to a whisper. "She didn't orchestrate this alone. Someone with considerable influence and connections fed her the information, manipulated the media." Hamdan's mind began to whirl, the pieces falling into place. This wasn't merely a personal vendetta, it was a calculated assault. "Dig deeper," Hamdan commanded, his tone resolute. "I want names, Omar. I want to know who's behind this." Omar nodded curtly. "Consider it done." That night, Hamdan stood on the balcony, gazing out at the glittering Dubai skyline. The city he once ruled with pride now seemed distant, a kingdom slipping through his fingers. His mind was a battleground, torn between fury and remorse. He knew he wasn't blameless, but was he truly? Omar's words cut through the air, sharp as a blade. "Your wife didn't act alone, Hamdan. She had a powerful accomplice, someone with a hidden agenda." Hamdan's eyes narrowed, his mind racing with the implications. A name echoed in his mind before Omar even spoke it aloud: Sheikh Zion. The words felt like a punch to the gut. Zion, his father's most trusted ally, the man who had always worn a mask of friendship but secretly waited for the perfect moment to strike. Hamdan's fists clenched, his anger simmering just below the surface. Omar's voice was laced with a hint of grimness. "Zion used your wife to destroy you, Hamdan. He fed her the resources, the media connections, and the influence. He made sure that once she pulled the trigger, you'd never recover." Hamdan's laughter was bitter, his head shaking in disgust. "And I was blind enough to think this was just about a broken marriage." Omar's hesitation was palpable before he dropped the next bombshell. "There's more, Hamdan." The words sent a chill down Hamdan's spine. "Zion didn't just want to ruin you, he wanted to replace you. There have been secret meetings and discussions about naming a new heir." Hamdan's heart pounded in his chest, his breath catching in his throat. "My father hasn't agreed yet, but he's listening." The room fell silent, the only sound Hamdan's ragged breathing. For the first time in his life, he felt a creeping sense of fear. Not fear of losing power, but fear of losing himself. Who was he without the title, without the privilege? Omar's voice cut through the silence, urgent and low. You can't let them win, Hamdan. You can't just stand here and let them erase you. Hamdan's gaze dropped to the folder in his hands, his jaw tightening. He had two choices. Walk away, accept his fate, and fade into history as the prince who lost, or rise up, fight back, and reclaim his rightful place. The decision burned within him, a fire that would either consume him or forge him into something stronger. Or he could rise up, fueled by a fierce determination. A spark ignited in his eyes, a burning resolve that would not be extinguished. I won't let them dismantle my legacy, he declared, his voice forged from steel and conviction. Omar met his gaze, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. Then what's the strategy, Your Highness? Hamdan's response was laced with a cold, calculated intensity. We launch a counterattack, swift and merciless. If my wife and Zion believe they can topple me, they will soon discover the true meaning of power. Omar's smile grew, a nod of approval. This is the Hamdan I've always known, fearless, unyielding, and born to rule. With a sense of purpose, Hamdan strode forward, his mind already orchestrating the first salvo. This was no longer merely a quest to clear his name, it was a battle to reclaim his rightful place upon the throne. The palace corridors were silent, but Hamdan's mind was ablaze with strategy and determination. His own wife had betrayed him, his father teetered on the brink of exile, and his enemies closed in from all sides. Yet, Hamdan stood resolute, his spirit unbroken. Omar stood beside him, a steadfast ally in the impending storm. Together, they would weather the tempest and emerge victorious. As they traversed the shadowy corridor, a palpable sense of urgency. The clock is ticking, he whispered, his voice laced with determination. Every moment we remain silent, our adversaries gain traction. Abruptly, he halted and pivoted to face Omar. It's time to reclaim our narrative, to shatter the silence and unveil the truth. Omar's eyes narrowed, intrigued. And how do you propose we execute this strategy, Your Highness? Hamdan's smile was a thin, resolute line. By reasserting my presence, by reminding the world of my unyielding spirit. The following morning, the Arab world awakened to a stunning revelation. Sheikh Hamdan breaks his silence, a tale of betrayal and deceit. News outlets, social media, and newspapers were inundated with a single, explosive video. Hamdan sat poised, his expression a masterful blend of calmness and conviction. I chose silence, not out of guilt, but to observe the world's willingness to condemn a man based on a singular narrative, he began, his voice low and measured. But now, I shall speak, and the truth shall be revealed. As he leaned forward, his eyes blazing with intensity, the screen behind him sprang to life. A meticulously crafted presentation exposing the intricate web of deceit and betrayal that had ensnared him.